Wascar Carpio, the favorite to both win and in turn retain the IPF Global title for a second time. If he succeeded, he would ultimately become one of only two athletes within the history of the 59 or 60 kilograms weight class to have won the IPF World title more than once. Wascar, quite frankly, largely dominated throughout the tussle, which transpired to be between the veteran French athlete and former IPF World champion Antoine Garcia, who retrospectively delivered one of his best performances on the platform to date. Wascar, the current two-time IPF World Classic champion, entered the championships with a world-leading total of 638 kilograms. This represents a one-year progression of 2.08% when compared directly with his 2023 World Championships winning total of 625 kilograms. Furthermore, when correlated with his total prior to enter the 2023 championships, Wascar's competition best total of 638 kilograms represents a greater progression of 3.99% as compared to his prior total of 613.5 kilograms before competing at the 2023 IPF World Championships. Last season, the defending champion entered the championships with a 2023 season average leading margin of 68.69 kilograms over 14 other hawkish competitors such as Antoine Garcia, Iván Díaz, Franklin Leon, and so on. This season, he entered with an increasing average lead of 78.79 kilograms, 10.10 kilograms more than last season's leading margin of 68.69 kilograms. When primarily considering each individual athlete's baseline total projections, the following contenders stood out. Junior athlete, Spain's Iván Díaz, whose baseline total projection stood between 585 kilograms and 613.25 kilograms. Britain's Ishtyaq Nabi, whose baseline total projection stood between 593.44 kilograms and 615.22 kilograms. Deadlift world record holder, New Zealand's Dion, whose baseline total projection stood between 568.10 kilograms and 610.51 kilograms. And finally, Malaysia's Chong, whose baseline total projection ranged between 617.28 kilograms and 634.03 kilograms. On paper, all mentioned athletes appear to be his biggest obstacle to Wascar retaining his world title, especially the highly potential Chong, even with a sizable leading margin. For comparison, Japan's Ibiyara Takaharu entered the 2022 IPF World Championships with an average leading margin of 35.75 kilograms over his fellow field of competitors. In the end, he was defeated by Antoine, who was crowned for the first time as a world champion. Without considering the individual athletes' baseline projections, Wascar entered the championships with a mammoth leading margin of 50.5 kilograms above Antoine, 60 kilograms above Chong, 55.5 kilograms above Ishtyaq, 75 kilograms above Dion, and 53 kilograms above Iván, which to some observers would automatically qualify Wascar as the favorite to clinch the world title. However, generally, in any sport, the outcome is never guaranteed. Takaharu, as I mentioned earlier, is a prime example. The momentous battle that ensued between France's defending champion Panagiotis, USA's Antoine Garcia, and Thailand's Kasam Sand in the 66 or 67.5 kilograms weight class, as well as the consequential battle in the 82.5 or 83 kilograms weight class between Durin's and outright favorite Russell Horry, provided validity to the inherent unpredictability of sports in general. To kick off the ensuing battle, Dion was projected to have the lowest baseline squat projection, which stood between 177.73 kilograms and 185.25 kilograms. Specifically, in parallel to the previously mentioned athletes' opened with a squat of 165 kilograms, the second heaviest opening in his sporting history.
175. Just adjusting the rack height for him there, so the clock will restart.
Dion Louis made sure to tell me in the warm-up room that world record's in danger, but we have done our research and I've seen what he's done in training. Expect some fireworks from Group A.
Additionally, his 165 kilograms opening squat represented a 3.13% progression compared to his opening squat of 160 kilograms at the 2023 IPF World Championships. Chong was a competition best squat of 225.5 kilograms, which is 3 kilograms greater than the front runner's competition best squat of 222.5 kilograms, opened with a squat of 212.5 kilograms.
And if he could keep a steady pace on this, he could surprise a lot of people for a threat to the podium as well as we look at the forecast. Now, this is just taking all the openers. And some people open big and slow down after that. So the openers don't tell the full story. Yeah, this is relatively slow for an opener. So that's
which is the heaviest opening in the history of the championships, including being 34.38 kilograms above his average squat opening of 178.13 kilograms. Interestingly, the average opening squat currently stands at 205.68 kilograms. Ishtyaq's historical average squat reliability stood at 76.39%, indicating a subsequent 23.61% chance of failure, opened with a squat of 175 kilograms.
in prep for this, he's had a 600 kilo total,
which is 14.37 kilograms above his average squat opening of 160.63 kilograms. Unfortunately for the athlete, a squat of 175 kilograms was considered a no-lift by the presiding championship judges, which immediately placed him on the back foot. The last time Ishtyaq failed an opening squat attempt was at the 2021 East Midlands Senior Classic, where he competed as a 66 or 67 kilograms athlete. Iván, the silver medalist at the 2023 IPF World Classic Championships, had a baseline squat projection which ranged between 210 kilograms and 221.28 kilograms, and a worst-case scenario final squat of 202.02 kilograms, opened with a squat of 200 kilograms.
This is by far the most important competition he's ever been in. This is by far toughest pack of 59s he's ever faced. And it looks like he's rising to the occasion. That looked good to me.
Which is the heaviest he has ever opened within his sporting history. This was 7.5 kilograms heavier than his opening squat at the 2023 IPF World Championships, where he went head-to-head with Wascar for the first time. On average, his opening squat stands at 182.5 kilograms. Additionally, his opening squat of 200 kilograms represents a 9.59% progression. Currently, not the absolute best in the squat discipline. However, the defending champions' projected baseline squat projection ranged between 225.09 kilograms and 242.80 kilograms, indicating a potential squat battle between Chong and Wascar, possibly even venturing into world record territory. For his opening squat, Wascar opened with a squat of 202.5 kilograms.
At the American National Championships, despite a massive weight cut in the 11th hour, registered a huge total, 638 if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's what they're going to try to hit today as well.
Which is similar to his opening at the recent Powerlifting America National Trials, His opening squat attempt of 202.5 kilograms is 2.5 kilograms below his opening at last season's World Championships opening of 205 kilograms. However, it was 5.83 kilograms heavier than his average opening squat of 196.67 kilograms. Rapidly, in response, Antoine quickly took the second spot, just behind Chong, with a squat of 210 kilograms.
Be intimidated by Wascar, 210. Garcia in a fight for that podium. Won his world title back in 2022.
And this sits just 7.5 kilos below Garcia's squat PB, so maybe made some good gains recently.
Yeah, I've been following his preparations for the World Championships, and they've gone very well.
This marked the second time he has opened with a 210 kilogram squat, having also done so at the 2022 European Classic Championships, where he was ultimately crowned European champion. Notably, his 210 kilogram squat opening was 2.5 kilograms heavier than his opening squat at the 2023 IPF World Classic Championships. Chong, comparatively, has a historical average squat reliability of 84.03 kilograms, in direct parallel to the defending champion's squat reliability of 76.39%, meaning Chong had a 15.97% chance of failure versus Wascar's 23.61% chance of failure within the squat. Surprisingly, he failed to make up further ground after failing a second squat attempt of 220 kilograms, apparently due to the lack of depth.
It's a little tentative as he approaches the bottom. We'll see if he gets it past.
This was his first failed squat since 2022 at the Malaysia Raw Nationals. It's not uncommon in the athlete's history to increase his second squat attempt by a margin of 12.5 kilograms. Prior to the 2023 powerlifting season, his average second squat increment stood at 7.5 kilograms, but at the 2023 Asian Classic Powerlifting Championships, he increased it by 15 kilograms, almost double his usual increment. Interestingly, the respective weight classes' average second squat increment stands at approximately 8.29 kilograms. Iván also failed his second squat attempt after increasing his second attempt by 12.5 kilograms with a squat of 212.5 kilograms.
And in prep for this, he came very close to a 630 kilo SBD day. Now the lockout, he missed the final deadlift. But if he could clean that up and hit anything around 630 today, that is a monster total. And a serious threat for Wascar. What do you think, Amelia?
Which is relatively 10.62 kilograms below his projected baseline top end squat of 223.12 kilograms. Based on Iván's historical squat reliability of 58.85%, there's almost an underlying 50-50 chance of failure. It's worth noting that at both the 2023 IPF World Classic Championships and 2024 European Open Classic Powerlifting Championships, Iván managed to sustain a 100% squat reliability. Appearing rather undaunted by his third standing, Wascar increased his second squat attempt by a margin of 12.5 kilograms. This increase was 0.83 kilograms lower than his average historical second squat increment of 11.67 kilograms and 4.21 kilograms above the weight classes' average second squat increment of 8.29 kilograms. An additional 12.5 kilograms increment upon his opening squat of 202.5 kilograms resulted in a squat of 215 kilograms.
He's going to play into their strategy now. Wascar has a total in mind regardless, but number one is win. He looked about the same as his opener. His opener looked like work. His second looks like work.
Immediately moving him from third standing to snatching the lead, but for how long? If purely considering each individual athlete's baseline total projection, it would be reasonable to overlook the former IPF World Champion Antoine Garcia as a contender to challenge Wascar in any capacity. His baseline total projection stood between 583 kilograms and 583.72 kilograms. However, amazingly, with an apparent determination, Antoine outflanked Wascar by squatting 222.5 kilograms for a second squat attempt.
Kilo jump, that's big in the 59 kilo class.
And heading into thirds, this will shoot him into squat gold as well. Although the kilos is what he's trying to collect really.
Nicely done.
In turn, giving him both a 7.5 kilograms leading margin ahead of Wascar and a 10 kilograms leading margin ahead of Chong. He also superseded his own competition best squat of 220 kilograms, scoring 5.89 kilograms or 2.95% above his upper baseline squat projection of 216.61 kilograms. Imperatively, within the early stage of the battle, Antoine positioned himself as a strong protagonist to challenge the defending champion. However, the question remains whether he can maintain the momentum throughout the matchup. Chong, who on paper appeared to have the capability to challenge Wascar's supreme dominance, surprisingly proceeded to fail both his second and third squat attempt of 220 kilograms, even with a comparatively historically high squat reliability of 84.03%, which interestingly is 32.51% above the weight class's average squat reliability of 51.52%, which includes the top 10 all-time 59 to 60 kilograms athletes. Consequently, failing a squat of 220 kilograms meant that Chong scored 16.48% below his top-end baseline squat projection of 251.30 kilograms. Unfortunately for Chong, his competition best squat of 212.5 kilograms. Ultimately, missing 2 squat attempts may have significantly cost Chong tremendously in applying a great deal of challenge to the defending champion. For instance, missing such squat attempts forces the athlete to rely even further on the deadlift to increase his chances of a medal. Given Chong's historical heavy reliance on the deadlift to build his totals, this increased reliance could possibly expose Chong to aimlessly overexert the deadlift, which in effect tremendously heightens the risk of failure and so forth, and in turn may diminish his opportunity in medaling. His baseline top-end total stands at 634.03 kilograms. If Chong's best squat of the championships of 212.5 kilograms is discounted, a subtotal deficit of 421.53 kilograms remains. Even when factoring in his competition best deadlift of 225 kilograms prior to the championships, there still remains a deficit of 196.53 kilograms. However, if he were to hit his projected top-end deadlift of 241.66 kilograms, Chong's theoretical subtotal deficit would decrease further to 179.87 kilograms. Chong's projected top-end baseline bench stood at 136.93 kilograms, falling short of plugging the 179.87 kilograms deficit by a margin of 42.94 kilograms. While adding 42.94 kilograms to his bench would have been highly improbable, it wasn't entirely impossible. Based on its overall bench reliability, there is a 76.39% reliability rate for the bench press, leaving a 23.61% chance of failure. This failure rate is higher compared to the squat and deadlift, which both have a 15.97% chance of failure. This risk of failure poses a risk in diminishing the feasibility in adding an additional 42.94 kilograms to his top-end baseline bench of 136.93 kilograms. Additionally, it has been discovered that relatively within the 59 or 60 kilograms weight class as a whole, athletes tend to add 6.57 kilograms to their bench when comparing their individual opening bench with the athlete's competition best bench of a meet. The squat and deadlift show even greater potential. On average, athletes tend to add 10.69 kilograms to their squats and 13.58 kilograms to their deadlifts. Hypothetically, if Chong opened with his competition best bench of 127.5 kilograms prior to competing at the 2024 IPF World, an additional 6.57 kilograms would result in a bench of 134.07 kilograms. However, this would still fall short of his projected lower end baseline bench of 135.82 kilograms. Also, it's evident that an additional 6.57 kilograms would not be enough to make up for the highlighted theoretical 179.87 kilograms deficit, eliminating any real prospects of seriously bringing the fight to the defending champion. Nevertheless, Chong's probability of medaling still appeared strong. His chances increased substantially due to last season's silver medalist Iván, who historically has a 41.15% existing chance of failure, also failed his third squat attempt of 212.5 kilograms.
A tight and close race. This might be the best 59 kilo session I've ever commentated, and I've been doing this since 2016. Oh, through sheer will. Let's see what the judges say. 2-1, it's good. Amelia, what are your thoughts here?
Therefore, scoring 8.36% below his baseline top-end squat projection of 221.28 kilograms, including being 2.02 kilograms below his lower-end worst-case scenario squat of 202.02 kilograms. The last time Iván failed a squat attempt twice at a major meet or championships was at the 2022 European Championships, where he totaled 550 kilograms, a quantifiable regression of 4.76% once compared with his 2022 season best total of 577.5 kilograms. Despite this, can Iván still challenge Wascar? It has been established that his baseline top-end total projection stood at 613.25 kilograms, which is 38.02 kilograms below Wascar's lower-end baseline total projection of 651.27 kilograms and 68.94 kilograms below his world record top-end projection of 682.19 kilograms. On paper, it appeared to be a daunting task for Iván to contemplate outmaneuvering the projected front-runner for a chance at the title. However, Wascar's worst-case scenario, lower-end baseline total projection, stood at 648.53 kilograms. In this context, a worst-case scenario generally refers to a situation where the athlete performs below their projections. Therefore, theoretically, if Iván had been successful in adding the highlighted weight class averages for each discipline, his chances would have appeared much more favorable in seriously contending with Wascar for the title. For instance, as I stated earlier, 59 or 60 kilograms athletes on average tend to add 6.57 kilograms to their bench, 10.69 kilograms to their squat, and 13.58 kilograms to their deadlift once compared with their opening and competition best attempts. In such instances, if Iván was able to add an additional 10.69 kilograms to his upper baseline squat projection of 221.28 kilograms, including 6.56 kilograms to his upper bench projection of 129.83 kilograms and 13.58 kilograms to his upper projected deadlift of 262.93 kilograms, which would enter world record territory with a hypothetical deadlift of 276.51 kilograms. Ultimately, he could potentially achieve a total of 644.87 kilograms, but his historical average meet reliability of 43.98% raises doubts. But there's a further catch. Iván has historically achieved only 91.28% of his baseline total projections, meaning a more likely total for him would be 559.77 kilograms based on his top-end projection of 613.25 kilograms. Wascar, with a slightly better historical attainment of 91.76%, would likely achieve a total of 625.97 kilograms based on his top-end projection of 682.19 kilograms. Given these figures, it seems unlikely that Iván could overcome Wascar, especially when considering Iván's track record of meet failures. To illustrate how Iván's multiple squat failures significantly dampened his chances of surpassing Wascar, consider this. Iván's competition best squat was 200 kilograms, combined with his top-end bench projection of 129.83 kilograms and deadlift of 262.93 kilograms, which results in a total of 592.76 kilograms. This demonstrates the extent to which his squat failures hampered his overall prospects. Even if Iván were able to exceed both his top-end baseline deadlift projection by 13.58 kilograms and bench by 6.56 kilograms, bringing his total to 612.9 kilograms, it simply would have not been enough to outflank Wascar. Wascar's worst-case scenario total, based on his historical regression, stood at 648.53 kilograms, which would have kept him well ahead of Iván, even with the latter's hypothetical improvements. Rather than increasing his second squat attempt after failing the first, Ishtyaq chose to reattempt 175 kilograms.
Have that conversation. Do you take your projected second, your targeted third, somewhere in between? Because if you're fighting for a podium finish, maybe you got to take your third and take a big jump for your next squat. That moved very nicely, and I think maybe they will.
This decision likely stemmed from a desire to avoid the risk of failing again, which would have prematurely ended his campaign in the early stages of the championships. Historically, excluding the success rate, 59 or 60 kilograms athletes who fail their opening squat, on average, tends to increase their second squat attempt by 1.95%. On their third attempt, they tend to increase their squat attempt more than twofold, with an average increment of 4.92%. Comparatively, from all the mentioned athletes, Dion had the lowest baseline squat projection, which stood between 177.73 kilograms and 185.25 kilograms. Understandably, due to his exceptionally heavy reliance on the deadlift to build his totals, which on average accounted for 48.51% of his totals, in comparison to his squat reliance of 30.15% and bench at 21.33%. Possibly, in instances, his average squat reliance is reflective of his highlighted baseline squat projection. For example, with an average deadlift reliance of 48.51%. His baseline deadlift projection ranges between 278.57 kilograms and a staggering 308.09 kilograms. Nevertheless, Dion attempted a squat of 170 kilograms for a second squat attempt of the championships.
65 kilo opener.
Yeah, he looked 5 kilos really sensible here.
Looking very lifter on this one. He needs to conserve his energy because that world record deadlift is in play. Oh my goodness, and this is definitely tougher than he thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Wascar, who was marginally on the back foot behind Antoine by a 7.5 kilograms, managed to match the front runner squat attempt of 222.5 kilograms.
It's that overall world title Wascar wants, defending world champion. Would love to make it back to back, like Jordan 96 and 97. And like the cover of Lethal Weapon. Wascar Carpio, third and final. Oh, right on the money.
Placing both abreast of each other. It's interesting to note that the average lead-in margin after squats from the last 10 IPF World Championships stands at 7.67 kilograms. Unprecedentedly, only at the 2023 IPF World Championships, as both athletes had a zero difference between first and second standing athletes within the squat round of the IPF World Championships. Whilst he may have matched his personal best squat of 222.5 kilograms and lower end baseline squat projection, including achieving 6.80% below his top end projection of 238.74 kilograms. Historically, the deadlift discipline, on average, accounts for 42.27% of Wascar's totals, which is partly indicative of possibly not pushing the squat even further, due to his greater reliance on the deadlift. Also, there could be an overly high estimation or confidence of the outcome, especially if initially entering the championships with an in-season leading margin of 50.5 kilograms ahead of Antoine. Already, both scoring 5.89 kilograms above his projected top-end squat of 216.61 kilograms and matching his all-time competition best squat, Antoine clearly showed a systematic willingness to bring the fight directly to Wascar. Therefore, seeing an opportunity to once again grasp the lead, Antoine increased his final attempt of the championships by a 5 kilograms margin, resulting in an unsuccessful squat of 227.5 kilograms.
quite a fair way separates the two right now, but anything can happen and every kilo will count because of that.
On average, he tends to increase his third squat attempts by 4.72 kilograms, which is 3.66 kilograms below the relatives group's average of 8.38 kilograms, which includes most 59 or 60 kilograms athletes that has recorded an all-time top 20 squat. Basically, a 227.5 kilogram squat would have been enough to topple Wascar's former in-season world leading squat of 222.5 kilograms, giving him a 5.89 kilograms lead. Ishtyaq would increase his third squat attempt by 10 kilograms, resulting in a squat of 185 kilograms, scoring between 2.70% and 4.30% below his baseline squat projection.
And this is where it's all well and dandy to say, oh, let's take our plan third, let's stay in the hunt. If you miss that, you're in very big trouble and probably way too far behind in this class.
Although it seems like he could have.
Lastly, Dion failed his third squat attempt of 172.5 kilograms, therefore scoring 4.35% and 8.23% below his baseline squat projection.
But 2.5 more kilos onto the total helps. I'm not super surprised. That second attempt was difficult.
If taken into account of Ishtyaq and Dion's performance within the first round, it's not unreasonable to pragmatically conclude that the chance of outfoxing Wascar for the world title, at least at the current moment, would have been unrealistic. Dion, for example, after the first round of the battle, stood 52.5 kilograms behind Wascar. Even if he was able to achieve his upper baseline deadlift projection of 308.09 kilograms, the margin was just too wide to close the gap. Hypothetically, if his competition best squat of 170 kilograms is added to his upper baseline bench projection of 118.91 kilograms, including his upper baseline deadlift projection of 308.09 kilograms are combined, such equate to a championship total of 597 kilograms, which is simply not enough to challenge Wascar in any capacity. After the first round of the championships, both Wascar and Antoine stood neck and neck. However, on paper, it appeared that the second round of the championships, which includes the bench, would provide enough means of creating a leading gap between both Antoine and Wascar. For instance, Wascar entered the championships with the strongest bench among the 14 other 59 or 60 kilograms athletes, with a season best bench of 148 kilograms. His baseline bench projection stood between 153.71 kilograms and 161.29 kilograms, which is a projected progression ranging between 5.63% and 5.67% once compared with his 2023 IPF World Championships baseline bench projection, which ranged between 145.43 kilograms and 152.73 kilograms. Antoine's baseline deadlift projection comparatively stood between 125 kilograms and 127.85 kilograms, theoretically handing Wascar a possible substantive lead between 17.58 kilograms and 25.15 kilograms. Historically, over the past 10 IPF World Championships, within the 59 or 60 kilograms weight class, on average, the difference between the first and second standing athletes within the bench phase of the championships stands at 15.85 kilograms. Individually, at the 2021 IPF World Classic Championships, the legendary Sergi sustained a remarkable 25 kilograms lead ahead of Iván, Antoine, who achieved 5.89 kilograms and or 2.72% above his highlighted upper baseline squat projection of 216.61 kilograms, plus a national record opened with a bench of 125 kilograms.
It's 125 as well.
Which matches his lower end bench projection of 125 kilograms, including being comparatively 7.5 kilograms above his bench opening of 117.5 kilograms at last season's IPF World Championships. Wascar, with a tiebreaker, started to put his foot to the pedal with a bench opening of 137.5 kilograms, immediately giving him a 12.5 kilograms lead over Antoine.
Because they're saying you have something to hide, probably. probably.
It draws attention, whereas Wascar, look at Matt Gary. You're going to find nobody more keyed in on game day than Matt Gary, and that's an intimidating face when it comes to game day coaching. He's the best of the best. And Wascar Carpio not hiding anything with that t-shirt. Let's say he handles 137.5. The defending world champion, no doubt on the elbow depth, and that's why. Little shaky on that right side.
Including being 7.5 kilograms above his 2023 IPF World Bench opening of 130 kilograms. Antoine increased his second bench attempt by a 5 kilograms margin, which is 0.33 kilograms above his average second bench increment of 5.33 kilograms, which in turn resulted in a bench of 130 kilograms.
Worlds, Antoine Garcia, 130 kilos.
And it looks good. A very smooth looking second attempt.
Therefore, effectively shrinking Wascar's initial 12.5 kilograms lead to 7.5 kilograms. Wascar meticulously responded with a second bench attempt of 145 kilograms.
137 and a half. Looked like some work, but so did his opener in squats, and he had no issues with the second and third attempt. Lot like
An increment of 7.5 kilograms, similar to his bench increment and attempt at the 2024 Powerlifting American Nationals earlier in the season, including representing a 5.45% progression if compared with his 2023 IPF World second bench attempt of 137.5 kilograms. A 145 kilograms bench attempt gave Wascar a lead of 15 kilograms. Antoine, with a second successful bench attempt of 130 kilograms, impressively scored 2.15 kilograms above his initial top-end baseline bench projection of 127.85 kilograms. Realistically, it would have been highly improbable for Antoine to wrench the leading position from Wascar, who had a 15 kilograms leading margin. Nevertheless, seemingly steadfast, Antoine successfully benched 132.5 kilograms for his third attempt, further superseding his upper baseline bench projection of 127.85 kilograms by 3.63%.
we have Young, and then sixth, Dixon from Canada. All of this can be shaken up come the deadlift event. Some people take huge strides in that deadlift event, and a lot of things change. Oh, Garcia works for that third attempt, but he gets it. 3 white lights.
Also, by adding 7.5 kilograms to his initial bench opening of 125 kilograms, meant that the former IPF World Champion scored 0.93 kilograms above the weight classes average bench attainment between the bench opening and third bench attempt, which stands at 6.57 kilograms. Impressively, Wascar, who absolutely dominated throughout the second stage of the championships, finished with a final bench attempt of 147.5 kilograms, providing him with a 15 kilograms lead ahead of Antoine.
Wascar pacing himself for the gold medal overall. Nicely done, and again.
However, a 147.5 kilograms bench meant that he scored 0.5 kilograms below his all-time competition best bench of 148 kilograms. Still in contention for a medal, Chong impressively finished the second round of the championships with a personal best bench of 142.5 kilograms.
Medal position, with only Wascar left to go after this.
You know what, that is incredible.
Which equates to scoring 2.82% above his top end baseline bench projection of 138.58 kilograms, and impressively scoring 4.92% above Chong's lower end baseline bench projection of 135.82 kilograms. Iván also demonstrated a high chance of medaling, given his baseline deadlift projection, which stood between 252.60 kilograms and 264.68 kilograms, along with a competition best bench of 137.5 kilograms.
9 kilo class, Garcia rising to the occasion. But Iván Campano missed 132.5 in his opener, taking 137.5. Hot on the heels of Garcia. And Campano has a deadlift advantage. I think the depth looked good from this angle.
Iván's third bench subsequently meant that he scored 5.72% below his top end baseline bench projection of 145.84 kilograms, and a further 1.82% above his lower end baseline bench projection of 135.05 kilograms. However, one of the primary concern is Iván's overall historical deadlift reliability, which stands at 40.18%, which quantifiably means a 59.82% chance of the athlete experiencing a failure or multiple failure within the deadlift. Such a high chance of failure could have potentially hindered his chances of securing a second IPF World medal. Wascar, the front runner, entered the second round of the championships, scoring between 4.04% and 8.55% below his baseline bench projection, which ranged between 153.71 kilograms and 161.29 kilograms, with a final bench attempt of 147.5 kilograms. Comparatively, at last season's IPF World, he ended the second round of the championships, scoring between 2.02% and 6.7% below his bench projections, which stood between 145.43 kilograms and 152.73 kilograms. Between the defending champion, Wascar, and the former IPF World champion, Antoine, if parallels are made with both their personal best deadlifts, including accounting for their baseline deadlift projections, Wascar on paper stood head and shoulders ahead of Antoine. For instance, Wascar's competition best deadlift prior to competing at the championships stands at 267.5 kilograms, which is 20 kilograms above Antoine's personal best deadlift of 247.5 kilograms. Their individual baseline deadlift projections reflect even more favorable for Wascar, which stood between 270.26 kilograms and an eyebrow-raising, world record, top-end baseline deadlift projection of 284.19 kilograms. Antoine, who stood 15 kilograms behind Wascar, had a baseline deadlift projection which stood between 244.75 kilograms and 244.78 kilograms, therefore plausibly handing a firm victory to Wascar. Remarkably, Antoine exceeded his top-end baseline bench projection by 3.63%. Even if he were to score a further 3.63% on top of his projected upper deadlift figure, which would equate to a theoretical deadlift of 253.67 kilograms, it wouldn't be enough to close the remaining deficit. If adding his meets competition best squat of 222.5 kilograms, bench of 132.5 kilograms, and a hypothetical deadlift of 253.67 kilograms. His total would be 608.67 kilograms, which falls 42.6 kilograms below Wascar's lower end total projection of 651.27 kilograms. This total also falls short of Wascar's worst case scenario lower end total projection of 648.53 kilograms by 39.86 kilograms. Another significant factor that may have hindered his ambitions was Antoine's relatively low deadlift reliability of 58.85%, indicating a 41.50% chance of failure in the deadlift. The most recent meet that he did not experience any such failure or failures was at the 2023 European Open Classic Championships. In contrast, Wascar boasts a higher deadlift reliability of 70.62%, which indicated a 29.38% chance of failure in the deadlift. Despite this, Antoine was experiencing one of his best meet and/or championships within his sporting history, opened with a deadlift of 245 kilograms, which is 0.22 kilograms above his top-end deadlift projection of 244.78 kilograms.
And already at a personal best total with 2 more lifts to go. In the most stacked 59 kilo class the world's ever seen, Garcia rising to the occasion.
It looks good.
This effectively reduced Wascar's initial lead to 10 kilograms. In pursuit of retaining his title and an invite to the 2025 Sheffield Championships, Wascar opened with a deadlift of 240 kilograms.
And perhaps as well with the pressure from Chong, it was felt in the warm-up room.
Wascar has hit every lift right on pace. Wow, smooth.
His opening deadlift is 5 kilograms below his opening at the 2023 IPF World Championships, where he achieved a personal best total of 625 kilograms. His average deadlift opening stood at 232.92 kilograms, which is notably 82.07 kilograms higher than the weight class's average deadlift opening of 150.85 kilograms. Antoine responded decisively with a lifetime best deadlift of 255 kilograms, including scoring 4.18% and 4.19% above his baseline deadlift projection.
That Wascar's proven it's just going to be out of reach, but he has to pay attention to all these other lifters right behind him. There you see Panagiotis, 66 kilo world champion, who lifts tomorrow in attendance, rooting on his teammate as Garcia locks out 255.
And most importantly, edging once again in a tie with the front runner. Wascar, in turn, responded ferociously with a hammer-dropping matching deadlift of 255 kilograms.
He has a lead.
But Garcia is hot on his tail, so Carpio is going to want to hit everything to stay with that healthy lead.
Yeah, Garcia's surprisingly hot on his tail as well. For Garcia to be at 600 kilos after his opener, a little bit of a surprise. Wow, that was smooth.
Darting him in the lead once again by a 15 kilograms margin, which quite frankly ultimately sealed his victory. Antoine unsuccessfully attempted a third deadlift attempt of 260 kilograms.
615 kilos, which is well above anything he's ever done before. Garcia having the lifting day of his life.
He finished the championships with a new personal best total and national record of 610 kilograms, which is 4.50% above his upper baseline total projection of 583.72 kilograms. Curiously, only 11 athletes in the history of the 59 or 60 kilograms weight class has ever achieved a 600 kilograms total or more. He finished his campaign with a meet KPI score of 83.45%, which is in fact the highest meet KPI score amongst the 14 other athletes at the championships. It will be interesting to witness whether Antoine can continue to experience a consistent linear progression upon his personal best total of 610 kilograms within the 2025 powerlifting season. After matching his lifetime best deadlift with a final attempt of 267.5 kilograms, Wascar absolutely sealed a triumphant victory by ending the championships with a phenomenal total of 637.5 kilograms.
And he locks it out, and that was a fight to get that lockout. 3 white lights,
which is merely 0.5 kilograms below Wascar's 2024 season world leading total of 638 kilograms. In the end, Wascar's 637.5 kilograms total meant that he scored 2.16% and 6.55% below his baseline total projection, which stood between 651.57 kilograms and 682.19 kilograms. He also scored 1.70% below his lower end worst case scenario total of 648.53 kilograms. Despite this, he became one of only 2 athletes within the history of the 59 or 60 kilograms weight class to have won the IPF World title more than once. The legendary Sergi currently holds the record for the most decorated world champion. Wascar's revised meet KPI score increased to 75.27%, up by 0.73% from its 2023 IPF World Classic Championships meet KPI score of 74.54%. This increment intrinsically reflects his gradual improvement in efficiency and performance on the platform. Meanwhile, Iván secured the bronze medal with a comparative regressive total of 597.5 kilograms, which was enough to narrowly edging out Chong, who achieved a new personal best total of 590 kilograms.